So, it is currently Saturday, March 14th, 2020. Happy Pi Day, by the way. And coronavirus. I'm just going to talk about that. So, this morning, it became so abundantly clear to me that the coronavirus is such a blatant example of capitalist America. Yeah, I'm going to be talking like this for this video. I don't know if I'm going to relate it to video games at all, or if I'm going to have any game footage going while I'm saying all these things, but aside from video games, this is stuff that I really like talking about, so I'm just going to do it. And also, if I swear, I apologize. I try to be PG for the vast majority of my videos, but today I don't really care. Obviously, if you live in the US, or I guess apparently Australia as well, if you go to stores right now, it is a fucking madhouse. People have to fight, maybe not physically or literally, but you have to struggle to find things like toilet paper and sanitizer and baby wipes and things like that. And it's just so indicative of what capitalism is like in America, in my opinion. Now, if you don't understand what I mean when I say that, let me try to explain a little bit better. So, there are multiple people saying things like, hey, don't hoard a whole bunch of things for yourself because other people need them in order to stay safe and to stay healthy and, stay in their homes in case they do catch this virus and need to quarantine themselves. And, that's obvious common sense. The more people who have supplies to be able to stay in, the more of us are able to stay in if we need to, and then we can spread this virus less and less over time by, people who need to stay out of society, staying out of society, basically. For the CDC is advising that we have a month worth of supplies, basically, just in case, which to me makes sense, But then you have all these people who are going out, to Costco or to Walmart, and buying way, way, way more than they need because they can. It's not like any of the things that people are buying are terribly expensive. Toilet paper doesn't cost a lot. Sanitizer doesn't cost a lot. At least it didn't. And that's just so indicative of our culture in general, When there is a highly sought after item or group of items or category of items or whatever, and people are able to seize as much as they can for themselves, they will just fucking do it. They will go straight for it. And that is literally what capitalism is. Now, let me give a little analogy here. Try to give something to relate it to. Oil. America, the US specifically, loves going to the Middle East under the guise of, oh, we're bringing democracy, or, oh, they attacked us, so now we gotta attack back, and stuff like that. But the vast majority of it is oil. They have a resource that we have less of, or that we just don't want to use in our own place. So we just go over there and take it from them because we can, because it's available and we have the power to just do so. So now, in these times of fear and uncertainty and with a novel virus, which, don't get me wrong, I do believe that we should be taking this very seriously, but I also believe that we shouldn't be hysterical about it, yes, this is serious. It spreads very, very easily. It spreads more easily than the flu, and the fatality rate, I believe, is just about as high as a flu, if not a little bit higher. So yes, absolutely do take this seriously. But going overboard and getting fanatical about hoarding supplies doesn't help you in the long run. It's like, yeah, you'll be able to stay in your home with your 3,000 rolls of toilet paper and your 600 gallons of sanitizer for like a year if you really need to. But one, do you need to stay in your house for a whole year? And two, what does that mean for everybody else? Because nobody is an island unto themselves. We need people to have access to resources so that they can stay healthy. Like, you can't hoard all the health for yourself. That's not how it works. If we have people who are struggling to find the things that they need in order to stay healthy and stay safe, then we're just going to have this continue to spread and continue to be a problem, if not become a worse problem, because we have fewer people who are going to be able to be safe. And this isn't even going into all the other issues, like the homeless population. Where are they going to be able to go? Or people who just don't have access to health like at all, like people who can't afford health care and things like that. Thankfully, there are some places around the country that are offering free testing and are doing what they can to aid people at no cost. And there are certain politicians who are pushing for continuing wages through all of this, because people have to involuntarily take time off of work, and it's going to put them in a very, very tough spot if they can't work. But then they also have all these bills that they have to pay. So yes, there are some places and some politicians who are saying, okay, we're going to be postponing bills, we're going to be postponing interest on loans and stuff. I think even Trump, in one of the very few right and good things that he's actually done, agreed that student loan interests should not increase during this pandemic. But then, we also have those very same people, again, another symptom of capitalism, instead of putting money and resources toward helping the population stay safe and healthy, like, the whole 300 million plus people that need to stay safe and healthy, instead of putting money towards them to help them get affordable housing, continued wages, access to healthcare, etc., if I remember correctly, Trump and his folks are like, oh, we're going to give $1.5 trillion to Wall Street so that our stock market doesn't crash. It's like, okay, cool, great. I'm glad we're so concerned about our stock market that we're willing to spend $1.5 trillion on that, but not nearly as much on our population, making sure that we all stay safe. So this kind of thing happens over and over again throughout history, and this is why I'm just not a big fan of capitalism, at least not the way that we do it here. I can't really think of any structure of it that really truly works the way that people think that it should. But it literally just goes like this every single time. You see a highly sought after, highly wanted resource, and then the people who have the means to go get that resource the fastest, they will go do that. They will hoard, they will just grab it all up, and then just keep it for themselves. And then, another step further than that, if you search online in some places, you'll find that toilet paper is being sold by these people who bought them earlier at a drastically marked up price. You get like 4 rolls of toilet paper for $40. That's capitalism. That's the thing that we as a country have exalted as the optimal way to function, where everybody just fends for themselves, fuck everybody else, buy up all the shit that you need for you, and then everybody else always have to get by, like no matter what. So this is just so indicative to me of the United States in general. I don't understand how you can have a whole society that's based literally on competition. Because again, that is what capitalism is. It is entirely competition based. You're always trying to be the first one. You're always trying to be the cheapest one so that you have the most customers. You're always trying to get your numbers higher and higher and higher and higher. You always have to appease your investors. You always have to post higher profits than you did last year, which is literally impossible. You can't always make more money because at some point that money has to stop. At some point it needs to come to an end. And we're seeing that happening with this whole toilet paper like thing that's going on right now, so many places have no toilet paper. Absolutely none. So what are people supposed to be able to do when that happens? Like, there are some people who have so much of it, and some people who have almost none of it. But the people who have none of it have nowhere to go, because everywhere that would be able to sell it, by the time they have the money to go buy it, because who knows, they may not have been able to do it this week because they were waiting for their paycheck, which came in on Friday, yesterday. But because they just so happen to get paid, or they just so happen to only have money at this very specific time, oh, sorry, I guess you're just shit out of luck. You're not going to be able to shit in your own house now because you don't have any toilet paper, because everybody else bought it all up already. If you want to spend $40 for 4 rolls, yeah, go online. There will be an independent seller there for you. But otherwise, I guess just fuck you, right? So, like, just don't be a dick about this. Don't go out and be like, oh, I need to get this hot commodity because if I don't do it now, I'm not going to be able to. And then buy like an entire row's worth of toilet paper. That shit's gonna last you for probably the rest of your life. You don't need that much. So, yeah, that's my whole rant about how our response to the coronavirus is just like capitalism as a culture. We're just so trained and we're so ingrained with the idea that we need to put ourselves first. And we need to grab whatever we can for ourselves. And that's all that we need to worry about. And other people who don't get there fast enough, or other people who just don't have the means to get there and buy the things that they need, well, I guess they were just slacking off. Or they should have just been quicker to the draw. Because I got mine, they could have gotten theirs. When it shouldn't be like that. It should more be like, I'm going to get mine, but I'm going to also make sure that others can get theirs. I'm not going to get mine at the expense of others. I feel that's how we should operate. I feel like that's how a society needs to be. Because you can't have a society where everybody is fighting each other all the time over everything. We can't have a functioning, loving, caring society where we can actually say that people give a shit about each other, where we are constantly competing over materials. That just can't be how it works. And yes, I know that I'm speaking in very, very simple terms. Like, obviously, there's a lot that goes into politics, and there's a lot that goes into doing stuff like running businesses or whatever. I'm just saying, at its very core, like, just have some simple humanity. Think about other people. Care about other people. Think about what your actions do that, like, to impact other people's lives. Because even if you don't think that what you're doing is bad, even if you don't think that buying 200 rolls of toilet paper is going to be a big deal, that just means that the next, like, 5 people that could have bought toilet paper can't now. Because you got enough for those next 5 people, but only for you. So yeah, basically, just don't be a dick, please.